Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode in my community question series. We're now on episode 12, and today's question is actually going to be a kind of a non-gaming related question. I do like to keep my channel pretty much focused on gaming, but I thought it'd be nice to mix it up a little bit here and ask you guys a non-gaming question. Of course, I want to remind everybody that at the end of this series, I will be holding a contest for everyone who has participated in the series. For every video that you comment on, you will get an entry into the contest. But if you take the time to do a video response, you will get another entry. And if you actually do both, comment and do a video response, you'll get 2 entries per video. And so every video that you answer, you will get entered into the contest. So the more videos and questions you answer, the more chances you'll have at the end of this series in the contest. So all those entries will be added up, and you'll get that many entries into when I draw for the prizes. And I do want to have a couple different prizes for everybody, so that more than one person has a chance to win some stuff. And so I'm definitely looking forward to having that here at the end of the series. I just want to first, also just say thank you guys so much for your guys' support of this series. It's been awesome. I love reading your guys' wonderful comments, getting your guys' perspective on these questions, your answers and stuff. I've also really enjoyed watching the video responses that a few of you have been filming for me. Really enjoyed watching those, and I really appreciate that you guys took the time to actually film those video responses. If you guys do plan to film a video response to any of my videos, I please just ask that you leave a comment, a link to your video in the comments so I can check it out, because I don't always get notifications from YouTube when people upload, and I would hate to miss out on your video response and not have you get credit for it. So make sure you let me know if you guys do upload so I can check it out. But for this week, this question here, number 12, I wanted to ask you guys, what are some other hobbies and things you guys enjoy collecting for outside of gaming? Do you guys like movies, or is there like certain toys you like to collect, or maybe you're like collecting books or cars or music? I mean, what is something that you guys are really big into collecting besides just gaming? If you guys have any other hobbies. Now, for me, I am a huge fan of Star Trek. I've loved Star Trek since I was a little kid. I actually got into the original series because of my parents. They used to watch the 6 movies, the Star Trek movies, all the time when I was a kid. I remember we used to actually go to California when I lived in Arizona after we lived in California, and we used to go visit my dad's buddy Craig, who he was friends with when they were both in the Navy, and he was a big Star Trek fanatic. So was his wife, and they went to Star Trek conventions, and they had the toys and collectibles. And I remember we used to go there all the time, and one of my dad's favorite things was to always watch one of the Star Trek movies when we came to visit him, because we would stay over and sleep over at their house for the weekend. We go on Friday and end up leaving on Sundays. And I remember that we always watched Star Trek a lot, and I really loved it. It was always awesome watching the classic Star Trek series. And so my parents watched it a lot. And then my mom actually started getting into watching Star Trek Next Generation. And so I started, watching the Next Generation with her in the 90s, and then Deep Space Nine. And then eventually, I off of my own was watching Voyager and Enterprise and stuff. But, I've just always had a love for the Star Trek series, and it's just something that I've always loved, and so I've always wanted to collect stuff for it. And I actually have a pretty decent Star Trek collection, and some of the stuff you guys see, I have them here in display. Like, I do have a bunch of these old Star Trek The Next Generation figures from the 90s, and I think these were, this one's copyright of 1992, some are 93, 91, 94, and stuff. But, I've loved collecting these old Star Trek figures. I used to have these as a kid. Of course, I took them out and played with them, and I still have some of them, don't have them all. But as an adult, my local game stores have had a lot of these Star Trek figures and Star Trek memorabilia for really cheap. Like, I got a lot of these figures for like $1, $2, $3, sometimes like $5, and it's still brand new and sealed in a package. And I have a huge collection of these Star Trek figures, and I'm probably really close to having a complete set, actually, with how many I've bought over the years and found. I just don't have any on display. They're all in storage in plastic tubs, and I actually have them stored like this, where one's here, and I just have them sorted up like that in totes, and the totes, and then have the totes all stacked up on each other in storage. But I would love to get these all out at someday and hang them all on the wall in my future game room that I want to get built, a dedicated one. Because right now I just have my living room here, and there's not a whole lot of space for stuff. But when my wife and I do get our own home and not an apartment, I could build my custom shelves, and I would love to have my Star Trek collection on display. I just love the little collectible stuff that you can get for it. I have a huge collection of the Star Trek novels. I've almost all the Star Trek books that are out, the novels, because I've been buying them used at Goodwills and other thrift stores over the years. We have these stores here called Half Price Books, where you can buy books for half the price or less that they are. And I've got a lot of them there. And I almost have all the original series novels, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise. I have almost all the novels that have been published over the years, and I've got them so cheap. All the little paperback books that go over the stories and adventures in the different Star Trek shows and universe and stuff. And I've read a lot of those, so I have a huge Star Trek book collection. I actually have a video up here on YouTube of going over some of my Star Trek books. If you guys ever want to check it out, I'll leave a link to that video in the description, or I can post a comment or something if you guys want to check out. It's a really old video. I've added books since then, but it does give you guys a bulk idea of the Star Trek book collection I have. I also have some Star Trek cups. I got some Star Trek plates, Star Trek collectibles. Of course, I have all the series except for Enterprise on DVD. I am thinking about someday, upgrading to the Blu-rays for like the next generation. I don't know if the original series ever got that, but it was really cool checking out like the visual enhancements and stuff that they did, the coloring and everything with the Blu-ray release over the DVDs. I mean, I even still have some of the VHS tapes that I had as a kid, and I remember I used to actually record the Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and the original series the shows off of the TV with my VCR. I actually still have a bunch of those old videotapes with the old commercials and everything in storage, and I've thought about bringing one out just to pop it in randomly and just bring back memories of like remembering those old commercials and stuff. But I've always just been fascinated with Star Trek. I like the sci-fi and the technology of it, and I really like the characters. The original series was awesome with Kirk and Dr. McCoy and Scotty and Sulu and Spock, all the classic guys. But then I also liked the Next Generation with Captain Picard, Data, Troy, Worf, Chief O'Brien, and then you get into Deep Space Nine. I like Captain Sisko and Major Kira and Odo, and Worf was down there again, which is really cool. Enterprise, you had Captain Archer, and so just was so many memorable moments in the show, and it's just something that I've really enjoyed and I've liked collecting besides just my game. Of course, there have been Star Trek games I had. I've got Star Trek. Reminds me of nothing about games. I got Star Trek board games. It's just I have this Star Trek Next Generation Klingon interactive board game. I remember I found a couple of different ones at the Goodwill, and I actually have those in my storage as well. But I actually played that with a couple of buddies, and it was fun because you had can't think of the actor's name, but he played Gowron, and in the video he looked like Gowron, but he played a different Klingon. And the whole thing is like he took over the Enterprise, and you have like an hour to stop him. And if you don't stop him, then the Enterprise gets destroyed, and you get to watch a video of him flying the Enterprise into a battle to get destroyed. I don't remember who it is they're fighting out because it's been so many years since I played, but it was really cool. And then I've got another one that was a Star Trek Next Generation game. I've got some of those Star Trek Scene It games of the original series, and other ones where, if you guys have played the Scene It games, where you answer questions based on the videos you watch of Star Trek. So I've got those. I've got a bunch of the different books that go over, like, talking about the different ships and the schematics and stuff. Like, I just like that stuff. It's just really cool reading Star Trek stuff and talking about Star Trek stuff. Now, I've never been to a Star Trek convention. It's something I would love to do someday. Of course, now that we have, the pandemic and stuff, we'll eventually get back to it. But I would like to, before I die someday, I would love to go to a Star Trek convention. It's so cool seeing all the people, they dress up as Klingons and Ferengi and Romulans, and they get all dressed up with the clothes and stuff. And then sometimes the celebrities, like Patrick Stewart's and some of they actually would go to these Star Trek adventures. That'd be really cool to actually meet some of the people. I don't know if I'll ever get to go to a Star Trek convention because obviously, like where I live, they don't really have those. But it's something I've always dreamed about doing is going to at least one time going to a Star Trek convention and meeting somebody or just hanging out with people who love Star Trek as much as me. Of course, I know there's people who are way more fanatical about Star Trek than I am, and they have like absolutely everything, and they turn their house into an Enterprise and that kind of thing. But it's just something that I do enjoy collecting. Besides video games, is Star Trek stuff, and especially like these Star Trek figures. And I've got Geordi here. Here's Locutus, so Captain Jean-Luc Picard as a Borg. Another one I got here is Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Pretty cool. And then I've got Scotty, one of my favorite engineers, one of my favorite characters from the original series. Really cool character, and then he got to actually was on Star Trek Next Generation, so that was neat. And then another one that you guys have seen before in my videos is I bought this at a game store. It was only $5 and it came with all these figures, and it's really cool because it has a spot for Deep Space Nine characters, the classic Star Trek, and Star Trek The Next Generation. And so I've got a Captain Sisko it came with, a Garrick, a Captain Pike, and a different Geordi LaForge here where he has like a dress outfit on. But they had this there for $5, and so I bought it to put in the game room because I think it's pretty cool. Now, I have bought some doubles, of course, of these Star Trek figures over the years. So once I actually go through them all, I want to keep one of every one of them sealed, obviously. But if I find out I have any doubles of them, I'd like to take those out of the package and put them on display like these guys are. But, I do like having them boxed like this, though, in the package. So I would like to hang them by the hang tab up on the wall. But I will take the time to open up any doubles I have and put those out on display just because I like Star Trek stuff. Star Trek's just been a big part of my life, and it's just a series that I have really enjoyed. Of course, all the movies. Now, I'm not really into the newer Star Treks that they had, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek. Like, I watched that, and it kind of, like, shit on the old Star Trek shows and stuff, and I'm like, nah, don't really care about it. And then there was the Star Trek for that CBS or something release, and I know there's that new Picard show, but I don't know, just kind of going in a direction I just don't really like, and I kind of like the old way Star Trek is, that's not changed and modernized. Like, I just like the way the old Star Trek is, and so that's the Star Trek for me and the Star Trek that I watch, and it's just how I am for that. But I do love collecting Star Trek stuff besides just video games, so that's something else that I am passionate about, and my biggest collection besides video games is definitely going to be my Star Trek stuff. Of course, I do have a really sizable movie collection, but I don't really look at that as like a collection, of more of just like media and stuff that my wife and I and our son like to watch, and like having my favorite movies and stuff. So it's kind of like all of our stuff where like gaming is pretty much just mine, and Star Trek stuff is kind of just mine, just viewed as mine. But I would like to know the answer to this question, though. What is something else that you guys like to collect besides gaming? You guys into the toys? Are you guys into a certain TV show like I am into Star Trek? Maybe like Star Wars stuff like that? Or maybe you're big into movies. You're a big movie buff and have a huge movie collection. Maybe you built your own home movie theater. Maybe you're, big into music. You like having all kinds of the CDs and going back and getting vinyl or 8 tracks, or maybe you're into cars. I'd just love to know some other hobbies and stuff you guys like to collect for. I'd love to hear. You guys can answer this question as a comment, or you can film a video response. I just ask that if you do film a video response, please leave a link to your video as a comment so I can check it out. I would hate to miss it. And again, there will be a contest at the end of this series for everyone who participates. I really appreciate all the participation you guys have been showing this series so far, and I hope you guys to continue to show support here with as I release more and more of these questions. I've just had a blast reading and watching your guys' responses to these questions. It's been great to get other people's perspectives and just to learn about my fellow gamers and collectors out there here in the YouTube and out in the world and everything. It's just really cool interacting with you guys, and I really appreciate it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see you guys next time.